Grace is a queen's quiet power, the way she carries herself with dignity, compassion, and ease, even in the midst of chaos. Greetings, Royals, and welcome to Sovereign Sunday, Wisdom from the Throne. I'm Queen Tasha, and every week we gather here to remember who we truly are, not just in title, but in truth. This space is for rising queens to reclaim our power, realign with purpose, and embody the sacred attributes of sovereignty. In this 6-week series, we're exploring the attributes of a queen, the qualities that form the foundation of true, soul-rooted, spirit-led power. These episodes are here to set the tone for what's to come as I guide, teach, and grow with you on this journey of rising to royalty and living fearlessly free. Last week, we explored resilience, and today's attribute is grace. Let's explore what that really means and how it shows up on the path to living fearlessly free. So let's get into it.
Feeling free to live my life.
So, the general definition for grace is simple elegance or refinement of movement, courteous goodwill. It is the quality of moving through life with poise, kindness, and effortless dignity. And in the empowered meaning is, for a queen, grace is not just about appearance or politeness. It's a sacred energy. Grace is the way you extend compassion to yourself and others, the way you rise above pettiness, and the way you remain rooted in love no matter the chaos around you. Grace does not mean weakness. It is strength under control. A queen walks in grace because she knows her worth, honors her boundaries, and carries her crown lightly but firm. There is a fly in the room that is trying to rob me of my grace. It has been bothering me. I've been trying to kill it for like a day and a half. But the expanded reflection for grace is the ability to forgive without forgetting your power. Grace is choosing peace over ego and alignment over approval. Grace allows you to move through challenges without hardening your heart. To walk in grace is to embody royalty, showing that true strength doesn't always need to roar. And grace softens resilience with compassion and patience, reminding us that strength and softness can coexist. And as always, I like to share a couple good quotes that align with grace. So the first one is from Ernest Hemingway, and it says, "Courage is grace under pressure." It's so true. The next one is Michelle Obama, and one of her famous quotes is, "When they go low, you go high," meaning don't stoop to their level. Always stay high, stay within your grace, choosing grace over retaliation. And another one would be from Anne Lamott. It says, "I do not at all understand the mysteries of grace, only that it meets us where we are, but does not leave us where it found us." I love that. Like when I found that, like, I don't know, it just resonated with me when I found that quote. And then the last one is from Pope Francis, and it says, "Grace is not part of consciousness. It is the amount of light in our soul, not knowledge nor reason." So, story time. How to handle challenges with composure. How I've handled challenges with composure. I mean, this circles back to, recent events with my dog. And it was very, very challenging for me to come to grips with something that I tried to forget, and that it was affecting my dog, and that it was going to be a long road of recovery. And like, I had a lot of guilt and shame that got set in, and my friend had to remind me that you have to give yourself grace. Like, yes, this is a challenging situation, but you are handling it well. You're doing what you need to do, and he will get better. So give yourself some grace. And that, like, ching, 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 ching went off in my head, because like, I forget that a lot to give myself grace. It's usually the feeling or vibration of like guilt and shame, which is a very like low vibrational feeling. When it doesn't have to do with me specifically. I think all of my challenges usually have to do with myself and not like externally or with other people, because I'm an empath and I've been, practicing or channeling that for years, that it's easy for me to see both sides and to provide some empathy and grace to people when I can see how they got in this situation, And I like to remind people to give themselves grace, and or when they're telling me about or venting about a situation about somebody else, I always try to provide an empathic point of view of giving them grace because of such and such and such, because you're not going to be able to change their reaction or change how they are just in general. But what you can do is provide yourself with perspective and give them grace so that you can not be in low vibrational frequencies of feeling. So yeah, that's one thing that I, as a queen, am constantly practicing, giving myself grace when I'm facing challenges, and knowing that, I'm really good at like facing the challenge and getting through it, but it's usually like the aftertaste, I guess, I don't know, the after effect, where like the guilt and shame of like, oh, I should have did this, or if I would have known, that kind of thing, woulda, shoulda, coulda kind of thing. And that's not necessary because there's nothing you can do about the past. You can only learn and try to make a different decision next time you face that challenge. Try to remember and make a different decision.
Ow! Jeez, what was that for? It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Ah, you see? So what are you going to do?
With grace comes dignity as well. Dignity is self-respect, respecting others, keeping your energy sacred and only giving that out when it is necessary. And what I mean by that is, when you're facing something, a challenge with another person, and let's say it's a direct, they're coming at you, whatever. When they go low, you go high, Michelle Obama kind of thing. Like, a lot of people who call themselves queens do not present themselves with grace and dignity, which means, they have that, poise, maybe a little bit on the, bougie side. But when they're faced with a challenge or the vibration of anger, judgment, any of that, their demeanor completely changes. Their dignity, a lot of times, goes out the window. They backlash. They don't know how to contain their composure. Is that the terminology? When faced with a challenge, because the worst thing you can do to make somebody upset when they are yelling and screaming at you or trying to get you to get their point of view is to maintain your composure, remain silent, let them get across their energy. You block that energy as much as you can, transmute it, have a smile on your face while they're going ham, and then you say, I understand your point, and I wish you best of luck,
Didn't walk away before I changed my mind. Thank you very much.
Or not in those words, but you know what I'm saying? Like you rebuttal. Oops, I'm touching the mic. You rebuttal with a respectful response and not going down to their tone, their level to get their attention. A lot of times when we do that, it's because we're trying to get their attention. We're trying to be heard. We're trying to make sure our truth is spoken and that they understand us. It's mostly all about understanding. We rebuttal because we want people to understand us, who we truly are, who we truly feel like we are or want to present ourselves. And we feel like that person doesn't see it or hear it. And so our compassion and passion about ourselves and love for ourselves makes us want to roar. And that is not grace and dignity. That is not the way that a queen presents herself in those type of challenges. And for me, I feel like I've always kind of been that way. I'm passive aggressive. I've got that from my mom, where you kind of talk to as people are walking away, or to yourself, like under your breath, like, but not wanting to be confrontational, because either one, it started off as insecurity, but also it grew into external boundaries. Like, I'm not about to stoop down to your level so you can get the response that you want because of such and such and such. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather, then, with the whole ghosting, thing, I did, participate in that for a while, where, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then I realized the importance of that. That's ghosting people is your highest self realizing that you need to protect your energy, protect your boundaries, and that you're not, that they see that you're not about to do that. And they swoop in and be like, let's just go.
Bye, bitch.
Ghost. No communication, and that's not dignity, but that is grace. That is giving yourself grace. That is giving, showing consideration to yourself. But as far as dignity or integrity goes, like, that's not the way to go about, life as an adult, life as a queen. You know what I'm saying? We can, set boundaries and communicate those boundaries if necessary. Now, we don't have to make everything a teaching moment, but we can provide, some clarity if necessary in a respectful way to be able to distance ourselves or to change the way in which the situation is going. So since I was young, I've always kind of been in that non-confrontational boy, I would be quiet and silent and either not express myself, or if I had to express myself, not going to their level. And I just keep continuing to mature that and then refine it to make sure that my boundaries are within my truth, and that my truth is heard, and that also I am respectful and provide grace to both myself and to the receiving party, whether that's a person or thing or situation or whatever, customer, client, whatever. So I want to provide some practical ways that you can embody grace this week. First one is big. Pause and breathe. A good deep breath and a sigh feels so good when when you are faced with a challenge and you need to act with grace. So before reacting, give yourself space to respond with clarity instead of impulse. And the best way to do that is to take a couple deep breaths. Next is compassion practice, which is something I need to do as well, which is extending kindness to yourself first, and also practicing extending kindness to others, because that can be a big challenge if you are not empathic naturally, to provide compassion and grace to other people. Everybody is facing challenges. Everyone. Just because you guys are facing those challenges on the same day doesn't mean that you don't provide each other grace. You know what I'm saying? You want grace from them, so you have to provide it. Crown posture. This is a good one. Literally adjust your body language. When lift your head up, broaden your shoulders, soften your shoulders, and walk with grace physically. Like, walk slow. Be aware of your surroundings. Smile. Like, all of these things are super helpful in aligning with and embodying the attribute of grace. And the last would be to let go. Let go. Release something small that's weighing on your spirit, because that lift allows you to rise. It allows you to rise. When you let go of baggage, of situations or people that no longer serve you, it allows your spirit to be free, in a sense, and rise with grace. So we are going to get into our card pool. We're doing good on time. I'm trying to be mindful of time. I also have things to do after this that are time sensitive. So I am going to do a oracle card pull from my goddess deck, Goddess Power. And we are going to channel and embody the attribute, the queen attribute of grace, and see what the goddess message is. So I have read from this deck before. I believe it was in my first video. The way that this deck works is based on the way that I pull the card. If I pull it in the upright position, then there's the alignment message, and then there's the empowered message, and then if it's upside down, then it's the alignment message. And so it's gonna take a little bit of time to put some good positive energy and give it a quick shuffle to align with the power and attribute of grace. All right. So I'm going to do a spread pull. Right out here on my dress. By the way, I got this dress for my solar return, my birthday. That was August 4th. From the GW, or better known as the Goodwill. I got this and another one that was like it. They're, they have, like, they split it up a little bit too high on each side on some of them, and that's why they got rid of them, but they're perfectly fine to me. I love a good, die chic, as you know. Little moo, whatever you want to call it. I call it the Mrs. Roper dress. Mrs. Roper. Anyways, here we go. This felt called right from the beginning, so I'm going to take that one. Oh, she's beautiful. So we have number 46, Scold, the future. The future is near. What do you have to say, my goddess? I love her crown. Gosh, I really want to get into crown making. I just haven't had the time to be arts and craftsy creative. I've been trying to be content creative. But yeah, so let's see what the goddess Scold has to say. So 46, here she is. So when I pulled it in the upright position. I like to read both messages just so we get a well-rounded reading, just because some people align more with one message or the other. I usually can tell when I'm reading it whether it aligns with me or not. But I generally go with what was told, just for the sake of the power of the cards. But here we go. So the empowerment message is: as you set your intentions for the life you desire, the Norse goddess Scold comes to show you glimpses of your future. You experience these magical journey markers as flashes of insight and moments of inspiration, like an echo of something that exists in another dimension. It's fun when things turn out exactly as you predicted. But remember that the essence of your intentions means more than its form. The goddess Scold, who rules the destiny of gods and men, says remaining true to the moment is your greatest power. Allowing the self to evolve as you go and discover new things today set the path for destiny to unfold. The power of the present and how you respond to life's potential is the potent, fertile seed of the future. In order to claim the future, you must attend to the now. Even then, nothing is guaranteed and everything is infused with magic. That was definitely a message that aligns with me as I'm on this transition and journey to head to Mexico next month. I'm super excited. I feel really confident about my decision, and I feel good about how it's gonna, unfold. And I'm just trying to stay in the present moment and continue to visualize it as if I already have it. And so the alignment message is: when you become overly fixated on the future, you rob yourself of the capacity to truly co-create a life that is meaningful and rich. It's because doing so gives your power away to something, some destination that has no substance. It's like you are wandering around in a ghostly place that the goddess Scold warned you to avoid. Perhaps you've been taught that better things come later, like getting to the wonders of heaven after difficulties on earth. The truth is that you can get back into alignment. So consider this: your life now and how you respond to it are the seed that will grow into your future. Your alignment task is to remove all the weeds before you choke the life out of your intentions. Bless your life today. Find the lesson in the condition of your world and be compassionate to yourself and others. That's grace. We are all learning to find strength in our most vulnerable selves as the world changes rapidly around us. The goddess Gold is with you all the way and all ways. I feel like that message was for somebody. Somebody struggling with decisions, somebody struggling with just like a difficult decision to move forward. And they've thought about it for so long, and now they're over obsessed about all the details that required to get to it that is blocking them from actually moving toward it. So if that is you, please take hold, rewind, and re-listen to that message, and let go and release that baggage, because it's not serving you. It's not serving your highest good, and you just need to go. Hold yourself high, have confidence in yourself, give yourself grace that you know what is best for your highest self, and follow that. That was the complete channel download, specifically for whoever that was for. Because I know that wasn't for me. That message was not for me. I definitely align with the empowerment message as it was pulled. And I feel that I am divinely guided and I am within divine timing for aligning with my desires. And I feel like I am in that flow. So, thank you, Goddess Gold, for that message. I appreciate it. Ashe. So, I just want to close out this grace message with a few things. First, our weekly affirmation that goes along with our Queen attribute. I'm going to put it up on the screen, and you can screenshot it and read it every day, or you can write it down, or however you want to do it, but just embody different affirmations. I know that just saying things seems pointless, but when you repetitively say stuff, your body starts to remember it. One, it becomes memory when you repeat it, but then as you're repeating it and saying it out loud, you're calling it into existence. That's how affirmations work. And so I think that having things like these are super powerful. I have a bunch of them in my vision journals that, I love to recite, which I need to get back into doing regularly, but here it goes. I embody grace. I move with dignity. I speak with love. And I choose peace without compromising my power. My crown is steady and my heart is light. Ashe. So, I have some journal prompts and/or comment prompts. If you would like to start a discussion in the comments, then please feel free to respond to one of these prompts. But I want to ask you about where in your life can you give yourself more grace? I want you to write that down and think about it. Where in your life can you give yourself more grace? I know for me, it's doing things alone and getting back into, it's not that I don't love myself or enjoy my company. I just got really down, or I have been really down about sharing my experiences with people and sharing my experiences with like a special person. And so I haven't been giving myself grace to be able to do those things without that thought, with that mindset. And so I'm working on that because I'm getting ready to go to Mexico. And the plan, originally was to tried to attract a partner. Not tried to attract a partner. I've been, actively attracting a partner without success. But I give myself grace about that because I know my worth and I know that divine timing will align me with the right person. So I don't need to have those feelings of like loneliness or guilt or shame or any of that stuff. And that's the area of my life where I'm working on giving myself grace. It's a challenge because you have all these societal thoughts from your previous programming about all of that. So that's something that I'm constantly working on. And then also, it's a constant practice to give yourself grace in moments, active live moments of challenge. It's very, very difficult. So I want to know in the comments and or write in your journal, where in your life can you give yourself more grace? The other question is, who in your life deserves more grace? Who in your life deserves more grace? And I can say for me, I do, my mom, for sure. I do my best to give her grace with dignity, but also, having my own boundaries because there has to, just because with grace, you have to have dignity, and self-respect goes both ways. So if you're not getting it, you give it with a boundary. Like you give it without having to allow for disrespect, if that makes sense. But yeah, who in your life deserves more grace? And I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you for tuning in for this week's lesson on grace. I hope that the message resonated with you and that you found some little bit of light bulb moment that will help evolve and change you as you rise into the queen that you truly are. But yeah, thank you for tuning in to this week's Sovereign Sunday. Next week, we will be diving into patience, which also goes along with grace. Because you cannot have grace without patience. So we will be diving into that attribute next week. So please tune in, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Like this video and stay royal, stay rising, and live fearlessly free. Ashe.